What a turnaround year it has been for the Eagles. They have gone from the worst to first place as they win the East. They have a bye in New York City next week. Also a great year for the Mountaineers. They could actually finish in a tie for second place in the West. We are inside the Coliseum tonight. I'm John Sanders along with Dick Kuchin. Been a great season for Boston College, but maybe a surprising year also for the Mountaineers of West Virginia, led by Bowman and Armstead. When they play well, the Mountaineers can be trouble.
Well, that's exactly right, John, but it's really critical that these two guys step up big time. Last time out against Miami, they really struggled from the field, and when they do, they're not as effective as a basketball team.
Well, one guy who has not struggled, not in his first year, nor certainly not in his second year, that's Troy Bell. He's one of the leaders in the Big East in many different statistical categories. He steps up when they need it. 17 of his points came in the second half against St. John's, 10 of them from the free throw line. He's the finisher. Who's the igniter for this team?
Well, the guy they put in off the bench, and he's an excellent player, his name is Ryan Sidney, and here you see him coming up with a loose basketball and just attacking the basket. I mean, he really ignites the game, goes up strong on the glass, and beats Lenahan from Providence along the baseline and takes the ball in and scores coast to coast.
He has been terrific for the Eagles of Boston College. We have two veteran coaches matched up here tonight. Al Skinner for the Eagles and the veteran Gail Catlett for the Mountaineers. They will go head-to-head. We've got Big East basketball coming up from Morgantown.
We as scientists don't believe.
The CSFB direct starting lineup for the Eagles of Al Skinner and Boston College. This is a lineup that's been terrific from day one. Bell, Harley, Walls, Singletary, Agba. They've had the same starting lineup every game this year. Gail Catlett has used 14 different starting lineups in the last 21 games. How about that?
Well, Gail, of course, ran into some injuries, along the way, but this Boston College lineup has really been stable throughout the course of the season.
Turnovers could be a key. Boston College very good in the Big East Conference. They're first, and that puts a lot of pressure on number 12, Tim Lyles.
It really does. He's going to have to take care of the basketball tonight. The thing that's key about Boston College is they've created 10 turnovers a ball game, and those usually relate into scores down the other end.
John Cowell is our referee. Will Bush and John Hughes are the umpires. We're set for basketball as Agba and Calvin Bowman will jump it up. We're underway in Morgantown, and the Mountaineers control the opening tip. Lyles has it. He will be crucial to what the Mountaineers do tonight. Barry, one of the two seniors. Lyles looks inside, tried to go to Moss, and that pass is picked off by Singletary. Back the other way, Bell to Singletary, and with the steal it was Kenny Walls, not Singletary. Here's Harley. That's knocked away, almost stolen by Bowman. Bell gets it back in the corner. Three-pointer on the way. A little strong. Moss on the weak side with a rebound. Chris Moss has been very, very good for the Mountaineers of late.
He really has, and the Mountaineers are going to push the basketball up the floor tonight. Inside
Bowman, tapped out of bounds and off the hands of Bowman. I think Singletary got a piece of it. The turnover brings it back to Boston College.
Well, he did, John, but already 2 turnovers created in the first 2 possessions as West Virginia comes out. Not exactly the way Gail Catlett wanted to get started.
Coach of the year in everybody's mind in the Big East anyway. Maybe in the country would be Al Skinner, but you cannot discount the job that Gail Catlett has done this year. Here's Singletary against Bowman. Harley from long range, and that's a three-pointer, and it's good. So Kenny Harley gets his team on the board.
And right away, BC is going to come out and extend defensively, and they'll probably trap all the way down the floor.
And that's why it's so important that Lyles handles the ball and handles it well. I think he got away with a walk right there. And he did not. 3 turnovers by West Virginia. They do not have a field goal. This is a good three-point shooting team for the Eagles of Boston College. And they've been a high-scoring club. 13 times over 80 points. That's an air ball by Harley, goes out of bounds, and it belongs to West Virginia. So once again, the Mountaineers will try to get it going. They've come up empty in the first minute and a half.
They really did. Both teams feeling each other out a little bit right now.
Well, there's plenty of emotion both ways in this game tonight. Barry just barely saves it, gets it back to Lyles, who penetrates and scores.
And, John, that's what they have to do against the press. They've really got to attack the basket, get the basketball to the baseline.
They were able to do that very well against the pressure defense at Virginia Tech earlier this year. And the key was Lyles, who sets up a steal by Bowman. Bowman all the way inside, spin, shoots, bending good.
That's a great take that time by Bowman to pick it off and then really stay under control all the way down the floor.
4 in a row for West Virginia. The Mountaineers have the lead for the first time tonight. Oh, what a season for Bell. If his freshman season wasn't good enough, he's the first ever in BC history to score 1,000 points in his first 2 years. That's the kind of player he has been. Walls along the baseline, buries that one. First basket tonight for the 6'5" junior from San Francisco. 5-4. The lead belongs to the Eagles. You say, well, the Eagles don't have much to play for. Well, if they win, they'll have the best turnaround in the history of the Big East Conference. They've already matched the best. That was by Miami a couple of years ago. There's a steal by Singletary. Picked up and brought back by Kenny Harley. Harley spins against Lyles. He skips it out. That comes up short. Bowman on the weak side with a rebound of the Kenny Walls miss. Eagles leading 5-4. Here's Barry. See how they defend inside. Boston College has been very good defensively, and handling Moss and Bowman will be important for them tonight. Here's Armstead, a three-pointer on the way, off the mark.
You know, for an undersized center at least, Agbaji does a great job.
And keeping the ball alive and spinning it in was Xavier Singletary. So he is the third different player to score. It's a three-point lead. The ball is kicked. Mountaineers will get a fresh clock.
One thing about Boston College, they can hurt you a lot of different ways. I mean, there's a lot of guys on their ball club that can score and come up big.
Well, the pressure has been there from the beginning for Boston College, and so far it has pushed the Mountaineers into some early turnovers. Here's Barry. Almost lost it. Finds Moss, and he stepped out of bounds. So another turnover. 5 turnovers already by West Virginia. Gail Catlett has a word with John Cowell.
And they're really having a difficult time handling Boston College's pressure. They're going to have to solve that early in this basketball game if they're going to be effective.
If you can't get it across half court, you're never going to get it inside, right? It doesn't work that way. If you can't get it up, you'll never get it into the big guys. Bell with it on the perimeter. Three-pointer on the way from Bell and good. He gets his first basket. 4 different Eagles have scored, and they have an early 6-point lead. Knocked away, almost. Turnover number 6. Mountaineers will keep it. It's going to take us to our first timeout with 15:58 to play in the first half.
It's been a difficult time for them. When they do handle it, they're going to be in pretty good shape. But even with this sequence, you see Lyles scoring down inside, but even, you know, kind of rough with Barry handling the basketball. And what's happening is West Virginia is running Lyles to the center of the court, so it really puts a lot of pressure on Barry to handle and bringing it up. And they're preventing Lyles from catching the basketball in the middle of the zone defense. So it's been difficult because all of a sudden now you have Barry and Moss in the backcourt handling the basketball.
And as you saw, a quick look there at 5 turnovers already. Mountaineers have the ball. Here's Moss on the perimeter. Lyles against Bell. Barry breaks out. Inside Moss against Yuka Agbaji. Tries to go baseline. Comes back to Lyles. Penetrates. Puts it up short. Moss has the rebound. He goes up and lays it in. Good job by Chris Moss. Here's Bell for the Eagles. The Eagles may have to play West Virginia in their opening game in the AT&T Big East Championship because the Mountaineers will be playing Villanova in the first round. Here's Singletary for 3, and he buries it.
And right now, there's just too much room between the defense and the shooters for Boston College. If you give them that much room, they're going to knock shots down all night long.
And that's 3 three-pointers made already tonight by the Eagles. Here comes Lyles again with penetration. Barry for 3 on the way and good. Brooks Barry. 4-point game, 13-9. That's the start we've had in the first 5 minutes. Inside to Agbaji against Moss. Might have taken an extra step. Yes, he did. Well, Boston College turns it over for the 3rd time. 2nd time. Check that. There's the man that needs to bring the ball up if you can. Of course, they're going to try to trap him. Bowman draws a crowd and gets it to Lyles.
And you know, one thing about pressure basketball, if you can see a team is having a little bit of trouble with it, you know, it really makes it difficult.
Here's Bowman along the baseline, leans in, comes up short. Singletary the rebound. That's deflected by Bowman, and he saves it. A good hustle by Calvin Bowman. Nope. They say it's over and back. John Hughes says over and back, so it's going to be Boston College ball, and it will go as a turnover.
Well, he must have felt as if West Virginia had gained possession of that basketball in order to make that point. So it's, you know, really questionable right now, and that's why you can see Gail Catlett right now having a discussion.
Well, he wants to get John Cowell, the referee, involved in the discussion. It was John Hughes who made the call, obviously saying that they did have possession. Gail saying it was a loose basketball. He will not win that argument tonight. 14:03 to play, first half. Troy Bell has 1 3-pointer so far tonight. Looks off the screen. Inside, Agbaye off the glass and good. So all 5 starters now are in the scorebook for Boston College. They go back to the 6-point lead. They've been up by as many as 7. Knocked away and a foul called.
I'll tell you, when you're going against Boston College, it's very little rest time with these ball clubs. You know, all of a sudden you see Armstead bringing the basketball back up right after, and now he's got 2 guys. He's got to try to make make a play through those 2 guys. It's almost impossible to do that.
The freshman Ryan Sidney checks in for the first time as Harley, who picks up the first foul, goes to the bench. That's the only foul we've had in over 6 minutes of basketball. Inside from Moss, and Agbaye with the easy steal. Another turnover. 7 so far. Walls from the side hits it. Walls with his 2nd field goal, and the lead grows to 8. Lyles tries to answer, and Walls knocks it away.
Boston College is a team that really hustles. They play together. They are really a team-oriented group of young men.
What a job they have done in turning it around, going from 3-13 in the conference to 12-3. Amazing. One of the best stories as far as turnarounds go in the entire country. As a matter of fact, with their 9-game difference, it's number 4 in the country.
And right now, Boston College gets back into a little 2-3 zone, but they'll trap out of that.
Barry steps through, feeds Bowman. He'll go to the line. Foul is going to go on Xavier Singletary, who had 25 points last year against the Mountaineers, and Bell had a then career-high 31 in that game. It was played down in Wheeling, by the way. Remember, West Virginia did not play any games in this building last year.
Well, one thing that Al Skinner did with Singletary is he moved him from the guard position last year, moved him down into the forward spot. And I think he's just felt a lot more comfortable there, and also he's doing a great job on the glass for Boston College.
Bowman with 3 early points. 4 of the 5 West Virginia starters have scored, and all 5 of the Eagle starters are in the books. Bowman has 4. The lead is 6, 17-11. West Virginia had 1 brief lead. Most of the first half so far, it's been Boston College. The Eagles playing with a lot of confidence, and you can play that way when you've won 22 games. Agbaye along the baseline.
And he's come a long way as a basketball player. Really put on about 30 pounds in the offseason, and it's all been solid muscle.
Lyles gets it across. Now they'll set up, but they've chewed off about 12 seconds off that shot clock. Barry with it. Moss has not been able to get free inside against Agbaye. Here's Bowman. Armstead's 3. He's fouled. He'll get 3 at the line. The foul is on Bell, his first.
And you can see a little pass to Armstead at the top of the key, and Bell comes out, and Bell arguing a little bit about that one. He might have a case.
Beerbaum set to check in for Boston College. Armstead, an excellent free throw shooter. At 84%, there is Jonathan Beerbaum, the Nebraska native. Mountaineers shooting just under 70% as a team from the line, and BC just over 70%. And I think 70% is kind of the point you want to be, at least there or above, right?
Absolutely. And, you know, you get the feeling in this basketball game that if West Virginia could start to take care of the basketball a little bit better and get a shot every time down, that they're going to be in pretty good shape.
2 of 3 for the junior from Toledo, Ohio. 19-13, 6-point lead. Bell's 3 on the way and good. That's his second. He is a 39% three-point shooter. The first ever, as I mentioned, as a sophomore to have 1,000 points. There's a steal. The freshman Sidney with a steal and the finish. So he is the 6th different Eagle to score, and they run it up now to a 9-point difference.
And you can see what happens with Sidney in the ballgame. I'll tell you what, he makes steals out from the top of the key. It's 2 points for Boston College every time.
Berry for 3 from the corner, bending. Bowman puts it back, misses, but there's Moss.
And there's one area they really have an advantage. Boston College really gets that ball down the floor quickly, don't they, John?
Yes, they do. Biggest lead has been 11. Right now it's 9. Inside, Agbai draws a crowd and will go to the line. Foul is on Bowman. Picks up his first.
And Agbai has just done an outstanding job. He really had excellent high school coaching and has really come a long way and the real reason for a lot of their success so far this year.
Pretty good free throw shooter, and we are glad you're with us in Morgantown tonight because our Big East basketball game being brought to you by Cooper Tires. A lot of mileage for the money. Cooper Tires, drive on. Agbai off to a good start, already has 5 points. Berry goes to the bench for the first time for West Virginia. As Josh Yeager has checked in, second one rattles out. Moss had it, lost it, and he lost it to his teammate Bowman. Harley just simply took that ball right out of the hands of Armstead. Another turnover by West Virginia. That's 9 already. Beerbaum with a 3. Moss the rebound. Lyles with it. This is Moss. Bumped as he head down the lane, and the foul is going to be on Yuka Agbai. That'll be his first as Hewitt is set to check in to the West Virginia lineup, a freshman. Also, Ross will report for Boston College when we come back. It's a 10-point lead, right?
Defense is a really solid offense, John. And here you see a little tip, and all of a sudden Sidney's there to pick it up, and he takes it down, keeps his head up, gives it to Walls for the easy jump shot. And right now, Sidney just picks his pocket, and this is why they call him the guy that really comes in off the bench and ignites their basketball team. He's done it all year long for him. And last year, you know, a senior at Pioneer High School in Ann Arbor, Michigan. This year, he's just playing sensational basketball.
Playing a lot more minutes and playing very well. He's one of the quickest players in the conference, and a dozen of the Boston College points, almost half their point total, coming off those 9 Mountaineer turnovers. An excellent-looking freshman for the Eagles of Boston College. He's about the only change that this team made. The team was not very good last year and have been the best in the league this year. An amazing turnaround story it has been for Boston College. And, you know, ranked number 10 in the rankings now, but it took a long time, Dick, for the pollsters to get with the program and agree that Boston College was a top 25 team.
Well, I think Al Skinner did what he had to do. You know, their non-conference schedule was not the toughest non-conference schedule in the world, and he really built up a lot of confidence in this team. And then once they got in the conference, they just kept rolling.
Ross taps it out of bounds, so it'll still be Mountaineer ball. We are at the midway point here in the first half with 17 seconds on the shot clock.
And they are an alert basketball team off the basketball. They just, you know, they put pressure on the ball, but everybody else has a good understanding of what their role is, and that next pass is the one that's getting picked off.
Ryan Sidney picks up his first foul. It is the 4th team foul. There's been only 1 team foul called against West Virginia here in the first half. Here's Lyles. On with Hewitt, Yeager, Bowman, and Moss. Those are the 5 out there right now. Ryan, Bell, Ross, Beerbaum, and Harley on the court for BC. Beautiful jump stop and a terrific effort by Lyles for his second field goal. Well, he worked hard for those 2 points, didn't he?
He really did, but it was a great move.
Harley with it on the perimeter now for Boston College. You skip it back to Bell. Shot clock at 15.
And West Virginia's changed their defense a little bit here, going 2-3 zone.
Here comes Bell. Pulls up for his jump shot. Comes up short. Bowman had it and hangs on to it. So Bowman with the rebound. Lyles now. Mountaineers trying to make a move. Down by 8. Lyles. Knocked out of bounds. West Virginia ball. If you stop, there's 2 guys in those maroon jerseys all over you.
Well, particularly if you're going to stop your dribble and not know exactly where you're going to pass the basketball. It's one of the prime rules in basketball. You know, start your dribble when you know where you want to take it, but don't pick it up till you know who you want to give it up to.
Bowman on the perimeter. Lyles thought about a 3. He's not a very good 3-point shooter. Hewitt off the screen by Yeager, goes back to Lyles, and the battle inside. This foul's going to go against Harley. It'll be a test for those Eagles if they can get Bowman rolling a little bit inside.
Well, he has been just solid all year long. I mean, I just think he's one of the most underrated basketball players in the country. When you take a look at the statistics that he's had during the course of the year, whether it's scoring or rebounding, just a tremendous player.
Agbai and Singletary check back in for Boston College. 16 fouls so far on Boston College, just 1 on West Virginia. Here comes Bowman inside, and he gets the roll. He'll go to the line. The foul is on Jonathan Beerbaum, and Bowman slicing into that lead, a chance to make it a 5-point game.
And a great example, really, of what he does as a basketball player. You know, just under control, really knows how to score.
And he finishes the 3-point play. We're in Morgantown, West Virginia. Final game of the regular season for the Eagles and the Mountaineers. Here in our ESPN Plus game tonight. Glad you could join us. I'm John Sanders along with Dick Kuchin. It's a 5-point game, 25-20. The Eagles have led most of the way, and WVU did have a brief lead, and there is a turnover. That's the 4th. And Gail Catlett trying to help his team work their way back into this game after a very shaky start. And a real problem handling the basketball. It's one reason that Hewitt is out there to help out Lyles a little bit. Lyles with it now. Gets away from the trap, but a bad bounce pass. Picked off by Bell. Bell penetrates but can't score. He'll go to the line. That's 10 turnovers already for West Virginia. The foul is on Jay Hewitt. It is his first.
And you can see a great trap, and Bell anticipates and steps up and just comes up. And, you know, the guy is just always plays under control.
Bell to the line. He has been very, very good at the free throw line this year. And he spends a lot of time there. Hits that one. Let's take a look, as a matter of fact, at our Volkswagen Big East leaders. You can see that he trails only Troy Murphy in the number of free throw attempts. So you want to get your best player to the line, and these are some of the best players who get to the line.
And they're all big guys, you know, all 6'10" or better, and you get Bell. But Bell is the kind of guy, because he penetrates with the basketball, he can score from the outside, he's going to get to the foul line. And the great thing about him is he's shooting around 86%, so it's a little bit unusual when he misses one.
But just 1 out of 2. It's a 6-point game. Armstead has not scored so far, and for the first time tonight, John Oliver has checked in. Tried to go back to Moss, bad pass. Bell tracks it down, then knocked out of bounds along the baseline. Good hustle by Armstead to get back in the play. Berry will return to the West Virginia lineup when we return to Morgantown. We are inside the 8-minute mark. 26-20. You're watching Big East basketball from ESPN Plus. Final weekend of the regular season in the Big East Conference, and a lot at stake for a lot of teams. It was Miami holding off Villanova at Miami Arena 65-53, and Seton Hall sneaking away, and I mean sneaking away from UConn. Providence over Rutgers 69-66. Rutgers season is over. Pittsburgh defeated Virginia Tech, and the Hokies season is also over. Here's Bell. Off the glass a little bit short. Oliver taps it away. Here comes Armstead. It's a 3-on-2. Armstead goes to Hewitt. He's cut off nicely that time by Ryan Sidney. So a good job defensively. Backdoor, Armstead races in, puts it up and scores. He was looking to draw the foul too, but he got the basket. 4-point game.
Well, and that's one way to break the pressure, start running some backdoor cuts, at least on the half court, particularly when they're going to come out and just pressure passing lanes.
It was a nice cut.
And they make that high post pass, and now a little bounce pass by John Oliver down inside to Armstead. Almost looked like he got undercut a little bit.
Well, he was leaning for that foul and didn't get it called, so it's 26-22, 4-point game. Beerbaum back to the bench for the Eagles. Sidney, the freshman, is still out there. Singletary handles in front. They look inside, go to Walls. Now Bell. Shot clock at 15. Three-pointer by Singletary, and he buries it. Singletary hits his second three. He's got 8.
You give him room, you know, and I think he likes going against this team because they don't give him as much pressure, particularly when they're playing that zone.
Hewitt took off. One thing he forgot to do was put the ball on the court. So another turnover. That's a dozen already for West Virginia in this game tonight. We're still in the first half with just under 7 minutes to go, and this is a team that averages 16 turnovers a game, and Dick, they've already turned it over a dozen times.
And it becomes a mental approach to the game right now. You know, you really have to start to be tough and recognize that we need to do a better job in that area.
Bell's three might have been partially blocked, but it was kept alive inside by Sidney, who found Agbai, who has 7 points already.
And that's that contribution that Sidney makes that we're talking about. Great feed for the easy layup.
Second foul on Ryan Sidney. That should be number 7, I believe, right?
I thought so, John.
Yeah, it is.
1-on-1.
Yeah, we will be shooting. Still just 2 team fouls called against West Virginia. One on Hewitt, the other on Bowman. So Lyles, who has 4 points, will go to the line. He's a 73% shooter. 31-22. BC has led most of this first half. Lyles 15 assists away coming into tonight from setting a sophomore record. Jonathan Beerbaum is back. Sidney, the freshman, goes to the bench with a couple of fouls.
Usually when Sidney comes out of the ball game, he takes a seat for one reason or another over there in the corner. I never know why that is.
Well, creatures of habit. Lyles cans 2 at the line, has 6 in the game. The sophomore from Baltimore makes it a 7-point game, 31-24. BC. 6.5 to go, and that's a foul on Lyles. His first as he bumps Bell.
And what's got to happen on that play is Bowman really has to step out and help and give Lyles a help on the basketball, because Bell is so effective scoring and knocking that jump shot down off the screen, off the pick and roll.
Well, you have to extend on him too, because he's a terrific 3-point shooter. 15th time that the Eagles have recorded 20 wins in the season in school history, and this is their second best start ever. The team that was coached by Bob Cousy back in the mid-60s went 22-3. Here's Lyles against Bell. They try to trap him, and a foul called, I believe, on Walls. That is his first. Well, this is not bad news for West Virginia to get the clock stopped and a chance to make some free throws.
No,
they've shot a lot of free throws. They've shot 113 more than their opponents, and West Virginia has made 103 more than the opposition.
And it's one of those adjustments you really have to make as a defensive team. You got to understand right now that, you know, in the traps, if you're reaching in and you're not going after the ball on the dribble, there's a possibility of getting a foul call.
9 fouls on the Eagles, just 3 on West Virginia. And of course, you play a pressure defense, as we've seen from Boston College. You're going to commit some fouls. 31-25. A perfect 4 for 4 for Lyles at the line. 8 points in the game, and it's a 5-point difference. 6 minutes to go in the half. Beerbaum against Bowman. Singletary against Barry. That's a travel. 6 turnover against Boston College, and their turnovers beginning to mount a bit. I think Jonathan got a little bit of a hurry that time. Oliver feeds it to Armstead. Barry in the corner, back to Lyles. Tapped away, almost a turnover. Barry has it deflected and taken back. Here's Walls with Beerbaum, and a foul on Armstead.
And really a good foul that time by Armstead, because Walls was going to convert that layup. But again, it comes off a steal, you know, and you really have to do a better job of taking care of the basketball. And there's the deflection, and Bell right there gives it up to Walls, and Walls takes it right to the basket.
Well, for some reason, Brooks Berry changed his mind about shooting that three-pointer just as he was about to put it in the air and decided to pass and had it batted away.
Well, it's one of the things that really happens, John, you know, against a good pressure basketball team, particularly when you know there's going to be traps. You start to think about it a little bit, and it really wears on you, and particularly when it's effective against you.
You know, people, though, have to wonder. You look at this Boston College team, it's not that much different from the team of a year ago. Ryan Sidney, of course, is one of the differences, but this is a team who was 11-19 a year ago, 3-13 in the conference. How can they be that much better?
Well, one is experience, okay. Two is everybody on their ball club has stepped up. Bell certainly has become a real leader. And I think this idea of pressuring and really, you know, and not turning the basketball over and creating turnovers. And I think lastly this, okay, they've got great chemistry on their ball club, and they've got the heart the size of Montana. I'll tell you right now, this team plays really well together.
They sure do. They have been terrific, and they are enjoying each other and obviously the success that they've had. You know, winning breeds, according to our recollection, it was Armstead, but there's been a long discussion of that fact, and we're assuming that Lionel Armstead is going to pick up the foul when all is said and done. And don't underestimate the job that Gail Catlett has done, not just this year, but over the years here in Morgantown.
Well, I attended his practice yesterday, you know, and I actually watched both of these coaches work, and you can understand why these two teams have had successful seasons. They did a great job.
1 out of 2 at the line. Oliver with a rebound. Well, Al Skinner in 13 years of coaching. Gail Catlett closing in on 30 years of collegiate coaching. Next year will be 30 years. Most of them here in Morgantown. He had some great years at Cincinnati. Here's Bowman. 15 on the shot clock. 5 to play in the half. Armstead. Nope. I believe that foul's going to go against Bowman.
It was. Yes. It was a screen, and he kind of reached out with his arm on the baseline cut.
Picks up his second personal foul, which goes as turnover number 14. Ouch. Here's Moss back in, and Chris has been rather quiet, just 4 points tonight.
Well, and you know, that's an easy way to create spacing, but you know, it's a little bit illegal when you get that arm up there, and Bowman had it up there that time.
Bell tried to scoop it up. It was called before the shot. The foul goes on Lyles. It's his second. It is not a shooting foul, and they're nowhere near the bonus with 4:48 to play in the half. But the difference has been the BC defense. Here's Walls. Passes on the 3, finds Bell. He'll reset at 30 seconds, and with 30 on the shot clock, a miss. Beerbaum with the offensive board, and he'll go to the line. That foul is on Chris Moss, his first. Moss has been playing very well of late since coming back to the team, averaging 16 points a game, and even better than that in the last handful for West Virginia. There's Al Skinner. What a job he has done with the Eagles this year in his 4th year at the helm, and Beerbaum buries the free throw. Beerbaum with that double-double against Duke, one of the 4 losses this year by the Eagles, as Kenny Harley checks back in, and Bell gets his first rest here in the first half.
You know, it's interesting, after that Duke game, Krzyzewski said, hey, I'll take him on the Duke team.
Hits 2 at the line. He is a senior from Nebraska, Fairbury, Nebraska. Much better job this time by Lyles, and they've got numbers inside. Lyles finds Moss, but he missed it. The rebound to Harley. Back come the Eagles. That was one of their better jobs of handling the pressure. Got an easy look and missed the shot. 34-26, winding down to 4 minutes left in the half. Beerbaum along the baseline, looks for help and finds it. Just dumped it back inside into the hands of Singletary, who is the first player in double figures. He's got 10. Here comes Lyles. He's got a lane. Missed the shot. 2 in a row at close range. Missed by the Mountaineers. Stolen back by Lyles. Bet he doesn't miss that one. That's 10 for Tim.
Well, you know, when you get an opportunity to make those easy ones, you got to make them count, John.
You're right. Oliver set to check back in for West Virginia. Just over 3.5 left in the opening half. Here's Beerbaum. Yuka Agbai with it. Barry might have gotten away with a bump. Mountaineers come up with a steal. 8 turnovers now as Lyles leads the charge. Armstead tries to finish and will go to the line.
Well, Lyles really does stay after. He attacks the basket. He misses the easy one. And now all of a sudden he comes back and puts pressures on Agbai. Agbai brought the ball down, and all of a sudden that little guard steps in there every time. That'll happen.
Armstead at the line. He's now 3 of 4 tonight. Lionel has 5 points.
You know, those big guys love it when, you know, the point guards love it when those big guys have the basketball and they bring it down. All of a sudden they're just ready to pick their pocket.
Lyles and Bowman go to the bench. So let's see how the Mountaineers do here. Trailing by 6. 3 minutes and 21 seconds of the first half remain. Boston by West Virginia, who have made 14 so far in the first half. It's 36-30, and Gale Catlett, what a job he's done since the Mountaineers have joined the Big East Conference. The one bad year was after their Sweet 16 year, Dick, when they were 11-7 at the 97-98 season, then went to 4-14, but they bounced back nicely this year.
They really have. And, you know, this team this year was picked 6th in the conference. So it's really been quite an accomplishment. Was really the term that Gale used yesterday in terms of where this team is.
But then you have the BC story, which just kind of overshadows everything. BC and PC, 3-pointer, spinning it up and in. Harley gets his second 3. 9-point lead for the Eagles. Trying to handle the pressure now without Lyles. It falls on Hewitt and Armstead, and this is Moss with it. Now back to Armstead. Hewitt often runs the point when Lyles isn't in there. Here's Oliver. Moss from outside. Not his normal shot. He likes to get a lot closer than that. The easy rebound. And Singletary sets up Harley, gets it back. 2.5 to play. We're still in the first half. 9-point lead, BC. Walls 3 to make it a dozen, and he hits it. So Walls with a 3-pointer. He has 8.
And here's the problem that they present. Everybody can shoot the basketball from the outside.
That is 7 3-pointers tonight. And the 32nd timeout. No, it's a full timeout called by Gale Catlett because his team is down by a dozen. BC in control right now.
I have never been so challenged.
John Sanders along with Dick Kuchin. Let's talk about what they tried to do. You knew going into the game you'd like to get some inside game going for West Virginia. It just didn't happen very often in the first half.
Well, it really didn't. And, you know, West Virginia's got to get the basketball down and score inside the score. And, you know, Moss is very capable when he gets the ball down inside. He penetrates here, kicks it back outside to Lyles. Lyles misses the shot, and there's Moss going up, taking up and scoring. They've got to take advantage of that. The thing that has really hurt West Virginia is BC's defense. They've really been aggressive. Here you see Agbai tipping it away. Sidney comes up with it, comes down the floor, hits Walls for a jump shot. And, you know, that's happened all too often. In fact, 14 times. and you can't turn the basketball over, and you got to know what you're going to do with it. You get your pocket picked again by Sidney, and those kinds of turnovers are created into scores almost immediately.
And they also did a good job shooting the threes, made 8 out of 16, and that helped them to the 10-point lead. And of course, the 16 points off the 14 turnovers, one of the keys in this game. And they both want a piece of center court. Well, of course, West Virginia wants it more because it's their court. But that's what's going on. That happened also prior to the ball game. Meantime, let's talk about after the AT&T Championship. You've got the NCAA tournament. You've got to figure that these teams, BC, Syracuse, Notre Dame, PC, and Georgetown, are all set to go. What happens after that is anybody's guess. Here are some teams to talk about, and West Virginia happens to be one of them.
Well, they really do, but I think, the games like this are really critical for them. But again, I think it'll happen at the tournament. UConn is certainly a basketball team that has played well of late, and they've been solid.
All right, let's look at Connecticut. Overall at 19-10, but their problem is they haven't been able to win any games on the road. Just one. That was at Virginia Tech, and of course, that RPI is probably going to drop after today's loss. Villanova, they took a loss today. They did sweep UConn, which gives them, I guess, an edge if you look at that situation. At Villanova, the team that will play West Virginia next Wednesday at noon, and then the winner of that game takes on Al Skinner and the Eagles Thursday at noon. That much we know for sure. We still don't know one of the bye teams yet. Won't know until we see what happens with Georgetown and Syracuse tomorrow.
But don't you get the feeling in the Big East tournament in New York City that any team is really capable of stepping up and winning the tournament?
I think you're right. Gail Catlett settles in for the second half. It's a 10-point lead. Bell hasn't done much scoring, just 7 points tonight, but he has still been the man that's made the show run for Boston College. This is Walls with it. Knocked away by Berry, but the Eagles get it back. Shot clock winding down to 10. Harley spins, shoots, comes up short. Singletary had it. Lyles knocked it away. That is goaltending, and give the basket to Kenny Walls.
Just aggressive play by Boston College.
Berry from Moss. Inside, Bowman for the stuff. Bowman has 9. The thing about it is with the pressure defense, it's really been tough unless the Eagles go into a shooting slump for West Virginia to make a run. Walls on to Bell, then Harley. Singletary pulls up, misses the shot. Bell had a piece of the rebound, but Bowman comes back, gets it to Lyles for West Virginia. Here come the Mountaineers. Lyles penetrates. The rebound ripped out of there by Kenny Harley. Both teams going with their original starters. Walls, Agbai, Harley, Singletary, Bell for Boston College. Moss, Berry, Bowman, Lyles, and Armstead for West Virginia on senior night here in Morgantown. Ten-point difference. Each team has made a basket in the second half. Bell with a three-pointer, and it goes. He'll get a chance to go to the line. Looking for a 4-point play. Something he has done several times coming into tonight.
And this is something they do with that shot clock winding down. And if Moss doesn't step up and Bell has the room, all of a sudden Lyles has got to reach in. And Troy is smart enough as a basketball player, really to draw the foul even on the three-point shot.
This will be the 10th time he has been fouled shooting a three-pointer. And 28 times in his career. So a 4-point play, that's nothing new for him. It certainly hurts the opposition, doesn't it? All of a sudden it's 51-37, and they have the biggest lead of the night. Lyles steps through the double team. Now he's got numbers. Berry for 3. Nope. Goes inside for Bowman off the glass and good, and a foul call. The foul is on Agbai. Picks up his second as Bowman is in double figures with 11.
And you can see where they want to get the basketball, right down to the block area against the pressure. They've had a tough time doing that, but when they do, Bowman's going to be successful down there.
misses at the line. First miss for Calvin tonight. Al Skinner out on the court because there's some debris that needs to be disposed of. That handled. 51-39.
One thing that makes Boston College so unique, John, is that they run this flex offense and run guys off of screens, but they're all players that can play different positions on the floor. So they feel comfortable at the 1, 2, or 3 spot.
Bell inside, and he draws the foul.
That's a pretty good example. All of a sudden they're running Bell off the screen. He's really getting the basketball at the block there.
Well, Lyles has picked up 4 fouls. That is really bad news for West Virginia. They must have him. Bell to the line. 2 out of 3 tonight. Went over the 1,000-point mark against Morris Brown. As I mentioned, the first sophomore to achieve that, and that's quite a feat.
He is just so comfortable with the basketball, bringing it up, whatever he does with the ball, he's really comfortable with. I had a player at the University of California by the name of Kevin Johnson, played in the NBA for a lot of years, and that's exactly who Troy reminds me of.
He has 13. He's gotten off to a quick start in the second half with 6 points. Back to that 14-point Eagle lead as they go for the biggest turnaround in Big East history, and Hewitt buries that one. Jay gets his first field goal of the night. He will have to step it up next year. Help pick up some of the scoring slack in the absence of Bowman. Singletary. Agbai from outside puts up the jumper and buries it. That's 9 for Yuka Agbai. They're just not allowing West Virginia to make any kind of a run.
Well, if West Virginia's going to get back in it, they're going to have to play a lot better defensively. Right now, they're not playing good defensive basketball.
Moss all the way down the lane, and when he got to the lane, he was greeted by Singletary and thus picks up his second foul.
Here's a place where a guy can start to feel uncomfortable a little bit. It's really not Moss's job to put it down from 19 feet and take it at the
That's
basket.
right. He doesn't mind catching it about 8 feet away and turning into the basket, but that's a little much what you ask him to do there. Result was a foul and a turnover, and Bell inside draws the foul. And we'll go on Hewitt. Picks up his second. Remember, we mentioned the great job that Bell did in getting to the free throw line in the second half against St. John's. This will be his 4th free throw attempt so far in the second half tonight, and he is the reason that they are over 70% as a team. Without him, they wouldn't be. 14 points. He has matched his first half total here in the first 3 minutes and 20 seconds of the second half. That's how explosive he is. Very rhythmic, automatic at the line. He has made 5 straight in the second half and has 15 points in the game. Mountaineers trying to battle back from their largest deficit, now trailing by 16 points. This is something that really hasn't happened much in the Big East, even though BC has the largest margin of victory in the point differences during the season. We have not had a lot of blowouts in this conference. Stepped out of bounds. Another turnover. That's 16 now. Gail Catlett's club has just not really been in sync from the very beginning. They turned it over, remember, 3 straight times to start the game.
And credit Boston College, because they are really a team that, they'll get you in trap situations. They really are quick with their hands, and they are really an effective defensive basketball team.
Walls for 3. The lefty buries that one. That's his second 3-pointer, and Kenny has 13 tonight. He's having a terrific ball game for Boston College. And Gail Catlett's going to have to take a timeout. No choice, because the run has been made by the Eagles to start this second half, and they have opened up a 19-point lead.
They're creating turnovers, but you can see what they've done tonight. West Virginia's turned it over 16 times tonight. That's,
That's about what they turn it over for a game for the year.
Absolutely, but yet you have everybody from Boston College right now from a point standpoint and from a scoring standpoint making a contribution. And that's why they've been so successful. It's really team with a capital T.
Well, once again, they have 10 3-pointers in the game tonight, and that's the 8th time they have hit at least 10 trays in a game, and that's tough to handle. Lyles with 4 fouls is going to have to sit. Al Skinner's club comfortably in front. And this is certainly not what we expected. Bowman along the baseline in a crowd, knocked out of bounds and belongs to BC. Well, that will take us to a timeout with 15:34 remaining to be played. And right now the Eagles have their biggest lead of the night. You're watching Big East basketball from ESPN+. And Bowman on the court right now for West Virginia. This is Oliver, looks inside to Bowman. The senior spins and scores. Boy, you get him the ball in that spot and he'll beat you every time.
He really can. He's terrific, and there's a great pass down inside by Oliver.
But here comes Sidney flying with the alley-oop, and Beerbaum missed it. It goes out of bounds. Too much alley in that oop, I think. Takes us to a break with 11:39 to go. A 20-point lead for BC. You're watching Big East basketball from ESPN+.
We got hoops on NESN's Big Time. NESN is your ticket for double the big time hoops. Be sure to get a second helping of the best college basketball in the country. Double the dunks, double the fun. Don't miss twice.
Drive of the game. This guy's been driving the boat all night long. See ya.
I'll tell you what, he takes it and gives a little crossover dribble, puts it in his right hand, and then gets inside amongst the big guys and still lays it off the glass. He is a player that plays under control, and he plays quick, but he plays under control. He really knows how to play the basketball game.
Out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. How is this guy not higher on the recruiting lists?
Well, you know, he was not highly recruited, and you know, just one of those guys where he's not that big of a guy, but he could always score. He scored out of high school, went to a smaller high school in Minneapolis, and you know, there's only one Division I school in the state of Minnesota.
Huh. Well, that's amazing, because he's a great player. He had a terrific freshman season, and his sophomore year even better, and that's a rarity because it's a three-pointer from Lyles, his first basket in the second half. Tim shooting only 24% in threes. We almost had a visit from Mr. Bell, and the foul goes on Yeager. Josh picks up his third. This is where the bell ringer for BC ranks. And these are in the overall rankings, and excuse me, these are the Big East rankings. He's third in points, third in free throws, third in steals, sixth in three-point shooting, ninth in assists. These are overall stats. He is also in the top 10 in one other category in just Big East games. So he has done it all for the Eagles.
And the thing that's really, I think, fun about him is in terms of watching him as a player is that he really gets the other players involved. He delivers the basketball to them where they ought to get it, and he makes everybody else around him better. And that's a sign of a great player.
Barry, one of the two seniors, replaces the other senior in the West Virginia lineup. And now Lyles is also heading to the bench. He was a little tardy in leaving. Just over 11 minutes to play. 68-51. Boston College on top. They have led most of the way tonight. Hewitt passed on a good look at a three. Goes instead to Moss. Gets it back. Baseline jumper. Bending, bending, bending. No good. Barry had a piece of the rebound, but it's Singletary for the Eagles. Every loose ball, every challenged rebound, it's been Boston College. Bell for three. Touched last by Armstead, and it's Eagle basketball. This is a sellout crowd here at the Coliseum, and they came pumped for this game tonight. And that tremendous pressure defense just took all the wind out of the sails of the crowd and I think the West Virginia team.
And you wonder if West Virginia going into this basketball game, didn't have a little bit more pressure on them as a basketball team from the standpoint of thinking, hey, if we win this, we still stay in the mix for an NC2A bid.
Well, the first 3 trips down the court that resulted in turnovers and it set the stage for this game. Armstead's quick 3, too strong. Walls has the rebound, steps over Barry. And play is getting a little bit ragged right now. Here comes Bell. Foul is on Hewitt. That is his 3rd. And Bowman, this is senior night for the junior college transfer from San Jacinto JUCO. Bell back to the line again. This will be his 10th free throw of the night. His 8th in the second half, and there is his mother. The Mountaineers will open the AT&T Big East Championship against Villanova Wednesday in Madison Square Garden. Bell has 21, including 14 in the second half, and there's Ryan Sidney coming back on, and it will be the Eagles of Boston College who will play the winner of that game. So it could be another meeting in less than a week between these 2 teams, should the Mountaineers beat Villanova. Lyles and Bowman are set to return, and another miss at the line for Bell. He's been a little bit off. He's made 8 of 11. Tapped out of bounds by Agbai. It'll be West Virginia ball with just over 10 minutes to play. Hewitt back to the Mountaineer bench along with Oliver. Does Gail Catlett's club have one more run in them here in the second half? BC's defense has just not allowed them the opportunity to make a run. Here's Barry. 3-pointer. Good. Barry had a 3-pointer in the first half. He gets one here. Gail Catlett wants full court pressure defense.
And that's exactly what has to happen to get back into the basketball game, and that is to make some threes, pick up your intensity a little bit defensively, get this crowd back into the basketball game.
The lead had been 24, and it has shrunk now to 15. 69-54, 9.5 to play. And this Mountaineer crowd trying to get their club back in the ballgame. Sidney looks inside, instead goes to Troy Bell. Walls, long 3, too strong. He pushed off. That'll be number 4 on Yuka Agbai. No question about that one. Gave a little nudge, and he got himself in position to get the rebound. Mountaineers will have it. Agbai goes to the bench as Singletary comes back on for the Eagles.
If Agbai's had a problem this year, staying on the floor. He's been a player who's gotten in foul trouble quite a bit. But
well, he's fouled out 7 times. You're exactly right. There's another steal. Here comes Bell. And he dunks it. 23 points for Bell. Remember, he had 31 against West Virginia last year. A career high that he has equaled. Not tonight, but he's equaled earlier this year. So Armstead with it out in front. It's 71-54.
And as soon as West Virginia started making a little bit of move, Boston College went right back to that trap, John.
That's right. And it got a turnover and got a basket. Barry has it tapped out of bounds. The Mountaineers will keep it. Here's some of that pressure we've been seeing all night long. And we'll check it out in a moment as we come back to live action. Lyles inside. He's going to miss everything. But Bowman is right there, and from behind is going to be fouled.
And it is the story of the basketball game right now, because every time these guys come out trap, you've got 3 guys involved there. Sidney comes up with it and kicks it to Bell, and he takes it right to the basket. An easy score.
The foul was number 3 on the freshman Ryan Sidney.
They are one quick basketball team. I'll tell you that right now. With their hands, they just get out and get into everything.
Bowman missed the front end of the 1-and-1, and Armstead touched it last, so it'll be BC basketball. 7 different Eagles have scored tonight. 6 Mountaineers in the scorebook. 71-54. 8:20 to go. Here's Walls. Back to Bell. Bowman drapes himself over the smaller Bell. Shot clock at 20. The Eagles in no hurry. They're comfortably in front. Alley-oop, Beerbaum. Off the pass from Walls, and Beerbaum finishes this time, gets his first field goal of the night. 73-54. Here's Moss. Armstead with penetration. Back to Moss. And they're going to count the basket. It took a while for it to get to the hole. But the foul is on Sidney, and he will have 4 as Moss got this one to go. He's in double figures with 10.
And Armstead kicks it out to him. He gets inside, kind of gets turned around a little bit. The ball hangs on the rim and goes down. He's got a chance to complete the three-point play. But even there, you know, the ball was not really moved that crisply against the press.
Harley set to check back in for the Eagles, and just 2 of 7 at the line tonight for Chris Moss. The free throws were the Mountaineers' friend in the first half, not in the second half. 73-56. Here's Beerbaum against Moss. Powers his way inside and scores. Thrown away as Lyles, a no-look pass that was intended for him from Armstead, goes harmlessly out of bounds. It's 75-56. The Eagles have scored in all kinds of ways tonight, including the alley-oop. It'll be Beerbaum at the other end, and a comfortable lead for BC. Hot shooting tonight by the Eagles of Boston College, and they have a comfortable lead with 7:19 to play here in Morgantown, which has not been friendly to other Big East teams this year. 60% shooting, and how about Bell in the second half? Remember, he had 17 the other night against St. John's in the second half. He has 16 tonight.
Well, you know, he's gotten to the foul line. He's penetrated. He's had open looks, and he's taken full advantage of the matchup that he's had. You know, Lyles has been in foul trouble, and all of a sudden he sees maybe Barry on him, who's maybe not as quick. Hewitt's played him.
Here's Beerbaum. Waits, goes up. Second time is a charm. All of a sudden, 3 straight baskets now by Jonathan Beerbaum, and he has 8. 21-point difference as the clock winds inside 7 minutes to play. It's just been a struggle for West Virginia every possession to get it across court. Shot clock at 15. Oliver leans in and draws a foul. That is number 4 on Jonathan Beerbaum, and he is the second Eagle player, excuse me, the third Eagle player with 4 fouls tonight. Lyles is the West Virginia player who has 4 fouls. Oliver has not scored tonight. The junior from Manlius, New York, gets his first point. That ends a drought. The Mountaineers have missed 5 straight free throws. Here comes Ross back into the lineup, replacing Beerbaum. Ryan, the junior from North Quincy, not far from Boston College, at the heights of Chestnut Hill. And he just nudges the second one in as well. So 2 at the line for John Oliver. 77-58. Harley with it. They work it ahead to Walls. Now Ross.
Really an effective passing basketball team, you know, and they know exactly where they want to go right now.
Bell's 3. He'll go to the line and shoot 3 as Oliver picks up the foul. Second time tonight that he's been fouled shooting a 3-pointer. He made it earlier tonight and completed a 4-point play. Tonight, this attempt will be 3 at the line.
You know, and he just runs along the baseline, gets the basketball there, and Oliver comes out and tattoos him pretty good, so he's going to get an opportunity to go to the line.
Well, he spent a lot of time there tonight. So far, 8 out of 11 at the free throw line, and 3 more opportunities coming up. Well, he obviously likes coming to the state of West Virginia. 31 a year ago. Tonight he has 24 with 2 more chances at the free throw line. And remember, it was Singletary. He had a 25-point game last year against the Mountaineers in that game in Wheeling. Well, he has been busy at the line in the second half. This is his 14th chance at the free throw line in the game. 12 of them here in the second half. He has been huge. He makes all 3, has 26 points, 19 points in the second half. He even outdone the St. John's game as Armstead gets away from a double team, gets the ball back. They go to both Bowman along the baseline. The defense is still swarming, even though they've been leading by about 20. Barry tracks it down, finds Lyles. 80-58. And they're playing defense like it's 6-6. Barry's quick turnaround. Good. That's a 2. Brooks' first 2-pointer tonight. The senior from Roanoke has 8.
Well, you talk to a lot of coaches around the country, and you can build a very good case for Al Skinner being the National Coach of the Year this year.
Harley gets inside, comes up short. Bowman the rebound. Lyles tried to go inside to Bowman. It's stolen. Another turnover. That's 20 tonight. Harley races in and it's knocked away out of bounds. 20 turnovers by the Mountaineers. Remember, they had 14 turnovers in the first half, so they've done better in the second half. Oliver out, Moss in. Yeager returns, and Barry to the bench. Here comes one more sub. Hewitt on. Armstead out. Gail Catlett has done all he can. It just hasn't been there, and you have to give a lot of the credit for that outstanding defense of the Eagles. Well, 5 minutes to go in the game.
When you go on the road and you can shoot the basketball and defend, you know, it's...
Yeah, the combination of shooting 60% and playing tenacious pressure defense is just too much. Foul's going to go on Calvin Bowman. That'll be number 3 on him. Calvin had 7 in the first half, 10 in the second. A 17-point night for him. It's another double-double, though, for Calvin Bowman with 17 points and 10 rebounds. And there is the preseason poll. You have to turn it upside down with the exception of Virginia Tech to get things right. Shows you what the coaches know, huh?
Yeah. The other one, of course, is, you know, Bowman, he was not on the first or second team coaches poll, and he's had a tremendous year.
The player of the week in the Big East Conference the last 2 weeks. Hewitt lost it out of bounds, and it's BC ball. 82-60. West Virginia had an early 4-3 lead, and that has been it. The rest of the time it's been all BC. Nice move inside by Harley as he turns, uses the backboard, and scores 13 points now.
Harley likes that spin move, doesn't he, down inside?
Four Eagles in double figures tonight as they are over 80 points once again for the 14th time this season. Hewitt puts up a jumper, rattles out. Bell has the rebound. Starts back, very much under control, looks for Walls. Three-pointer. Out of bounds, touched last by Bell. Mountaineers have it just inside 4 minutes. We'll take a timeout here in Morgantown. 84-60. The Eagles have sent some folks home because they have matched their biggest lead of the night. It's 84-60. And our Big East game from Morgantown, the Coliseum tonight on ESPN Plus has been brought to you by BMW. Test drive the ultimate driving machine at your local BMW center. and also by Cooper Tires. A lot of mileage for the money. Cooper Tires, drive on. This BC vehicle has been driven tonight by Troy Bell, who has been unbelievable in the second half with 19 points. And of course, we talked about from the very beginning the turnover situation. The margin first, and they're going to do nothing to lower that with the way they've done tonight.
No, they haven't, and you know, it's really part of the ingredient to make them an excellent basketball team.
21-12, the turnover difference. Gail Catlett right now just kind of sitting quietly on the bench. Here's Bowman working his way inside and nails the shot. 19 points for Bowman. Looking for his 15th 20-point game. But it's been all Eagles here tonight, and that's number 4 on Josh Yeager. He joins Lyles with 4 fouls.
His 4th personal. On line number 2, Troy Bell shoots 2.
Bell back where he's been camped most of the second half at the line. He has made 12 of 15.
And he's pretty comfortable there, isn't he?
Yeah, he's found a home there. Hits another 2 at the free throw line, has 28 points at the game. Now let's see, that gives him 59 points in 2 games against West Virginia's Ross taps it out of bounds, working around Moss. Still Mountaineer ball with 3:19 to play, but the sellout crowd, a lot of them have headed home. Here comes Sidney back to the lineup, and Bell to the bench. Another tremendous performance by Troy Bell. I would think that he just might give Mr. Murphy a run for his money as Player of the Year in this conference. He has been outstanding.
Well, when you look where he is statistically in every category, you look the way this team has turned it around. You know, I think you can point to Troy Bell as the real catalyst for having that happen.
Oh, absolutely. Walls picks up the foul. It is just his second. And there are the numbers. 6 of 10 shooting, 13 of 16 at the line. A 28.9. Just another day in the office for Bell. Keep your eye on him. Just a slight smile. Gail Catlett wore a special leather coat to this game tonight because a friend of his is very ill and had asked him to wear the coat, but he hasn't had it on since the game began. It's about time to put it back on. You can wear it when he heads home. Moss finally ends a drought of 4 in a row at the line. And he'll go to the bench as Tobias Selden checks in for Armstead. And Moss, 1 more at the line. He's made just 3 of 8 so far this evening. That'll be 4 of 9, a dozen points for him as Barry, the senior, checks back in. Yeager goes to the bench. And remember, this is a guy that came here out of Fork Union without a scholarship. Earned one after his freshman season. He's been a terrific player for Gail Catlett. He is the lone remaining player remaining from the Sweet 16 group. And how about that sweet pass inside to Kenny Walls?
Well, it gives you a good indication of just how effective every player on Boston College's team is at handling and passing and catching.
There's a trap deal. Taps it ahead. It's out of bounds, though. It was the 22nd turnover, and another one forced by that tenacious defense. Oliver and Yeager will return for West Virginia. Al Skinner's not really gone to his bench yet. He has gone just 8 deep tonight. And the hand for Barry. He and Bowman checking out of their final games, maybe here in Morgantown. You don't know about the possibility of the NIT. Hewitt for 3. Too strong. Selden has the rebound. Goes up and hits the side of the backboard into the hands of Ross. Walls bounces it off the backside of Oliver. Here is Oliver, tried to dump it down, and there's another turnover. That's 23. An easy steal for Harley. Yeah, we don't need this.
No, you really don't, and it's going to be a double technical foul. And I wouldn't be surprised right now if they toss both guys. But fortunately, nobody threw a punch or anything like that, so it's just one of those physical.
Well, I think it's frustration. Oliver's going to wind up with 2 fouls. I think a personal foul and a technical foul, and Singletary is also going to pick up a technical foul.
Well, I think the officials are going to get together here and sort it out, but you can see taking the ball tough to the hole, and really Singletary thought that Oliver maybe was a little bit too aggressive, and
maybe he was.
Get into it.
That the officials will confer at center court. And if I have it figured out right, if the double technical stands, Oliver will wind up with 4 fouls. And so will Singletary, because Oliver will get 2 fouls on the play. The Eagles in search of their 13th conference win, which would be the most. And you're right, there were no punches thrown, just some grabbing. Singletary had that fist doubled up, but he kept it behind him.
Yeah, and you know, it was actually kind of a strange play. Oliver was standing there, and Singletary comes barreling in, and now all of a sudden, you know, it's a hard hit. You go, Oliver naturally frustrated at this particular point.
Let's take a look again at the Big East tournament brackets while we sort this all out between the coaches and the officials. West Virginia plays Villanova. That will start at noon for the AT&T Championships in Madison Square Garden. In St. John's, Seton Hall, Miami, Pittsburgh. And the final game will either be Georgetown, Syracuse against UConn. Now, we don't know which. That depends on what happens tomorrow when Syracuse plays St. John's and Georgetown plays Notre Dame. And that will determine who gets the bye. If Georgetown wins, they get the bye. If they lose, Syracuse wins, Syracuse gets the bye.
Well, it becomes a big basketball game for both those teams tomorrow, because I'm sure one would like to have that first night off.
And they are still trying to sort things out. After shooing Al Skinner back to his huddle, Gail Catlett is waiting for subs. You're going to have Mike Iodelli and Alish Khan check in. Getting set to check into the lineup for BC is Nicholas Dunn. And we'll get the official word here. They want a replay, apparently. And with the headset. Haji Satirov is going to check in. For Boston College. I'm not quite sure. We're going to shoot the technicals first. Jaeger will get 2. He'll have 1 more. Josh, a 70% shooter, has just 1 basket tonight. It was a 2-pointer. But his last 2 games have not been very terrific for him.
No, he struggled down at Miami, and he came in here tonight and did not play, you know, up to his potential.
And certainly what they needed him to play. Now, Bowman did have 19 tonight. Lyles got in foul trouble. Lionel Armstead also a bit of a disappointment. He had only 6. Singletary will go to the line. Now he's going to shoot the regular free throw, so maybe they did not call a technical on Oliver. Is that correct?
That's exactly right.
So Oliver has 3 fouls. He got a personal foul. Singletary got the technical. It is a 2-shot foul, and he misses. So Walls departs as Nicholas Dunn is on. And Singletary is also going to go to the bench. Haji Satirov, Ludmil Haji Satirov will take his spot. So Singletary made 1 out of 2 and has 13 points. 89-65. 2 minutes to go. Here is Hewitt. Jaeger for 3. That's short. Dunn has the rebound. They push it ahead to Kenny Harley. Dunn from the corner. This is a rebound by Selden. Game winding down. Okay, the other technical was on the BC bench. That's why he had 2 free throws. So there were 2 technicals called. Are you saying they did call a technical on Oliver? The seniors are finished. Maybe, unless there's an NIT in the future for this building. And of course Barry, the last remaining player from that group that Gail Catlett had that took him to the Sweet 16. Harley to the line.
And you know that this is a disappointing finish to their home season, but they've really had a terrific year.
Absolutely. I think it's a season that Gail Catlett has enjoyed, and it has brought them more wins than expected. 17-10 is how they will finish the regular season, and who knows what's going to happen when they get to the Garden. 15 points now for Harley. It's a 91-65 lead. It has turned into a blowout, and we did not expect that. But a quick start tonight. Boston College was fueled by their defense and then the spectacular shooting that they've had in this ball game. It's been one of the keys. Iodelli with it. Puts up a jumper in the lane. Another foul called on Yeager, and he's fouled out.
And BC was really coming off 2 really close basketball games, at least conference games, in that they had St. John's at home, and that was a game that really went right down to the wire. And of course the Providence game, ball in the air at the end of that basketball game. So tonight they came out and just took control with their full court pressure. And you know, you're minute left to go in the basketball game and 91 points up on the board. You're not going to lose too many when you do that.
Coach will take the spot of Yeager. Just the 3rd game that Warren Coates has appeared in this year. Iodelli is playing in his 13th game. Dunn playing in his 11th game. Ross at the line, and he misses. Bryant has not scored tonight, and he's only 5 of 11 at the free throw line, but he has not had many opportunities. He's actually been a very good 3-point shooter. And he misses both at the line, and Kahn has the rebound. 91-65. Hewitt dances inside, spins it up. Tip try no good by Kahn. One more try by Kahn, and he'll get to go to the line. Foul is going to be on Dunn. 43 seconds remaining in this game. And remember, for West Virginia at noon in Madison Square Garden in the AT&T Big East Championships, it'll be Villanova. And the winner of that game the following noon on Thursday will take on the Eagles of BC, and Kahn does not get the roll. Missed them both. Hadji Satirov with the rebound. Ross will shoot one of those threes, and that's the 13th three-pointer that he has made this season in 22 attempts. So Ross gets his name in the scorebook to make it a 29-point difference. Final 30 seconds. Sidney starts back the other way. Beautiful quick move behind his back. Cruises in and draws a foul. No basket. The foul was on Iodelli. Sidney so quick. That behind the back dribble that time, he almost didn't move at all. He just took the ball from one side to the other behind his back.
He really has. He's just developed, you know, throughout the course of the season to be an outstanding player and has the tools to continue to get better and better. And this really puts a cap on their season in that, you know, they've really turned it around and had the best turnaround of any basketball team that's ever played in the Big East.
That's right. They had been tied with Miami for the biggest turnaround, and this is going to be a 10-game turnaround. They have won more games in the Big East Conference than ever before. Their 4th regular season title locked up in a 31-point lead as Kahn steps away from traffic. Hewitt with a runner. Rattles out, tipped up no good, and a rebound inside by Sidney. Lead pass to Dunn, and it's out of bounds.
I'll tell you what, when Sidney's on the floor, you know, there can be 2.4 seconds left to go in the game. Something's going to happen.
That's exactly right. That's going to do it. 96-65 is going to be the final score. Big East rivals, and for the 4th time in a row, Boston College has defeated West Virginia. Al Skinner wins his 23rd game. Gail Catlett's team loses their 10th. Defense set it up. Terrific shooting through 2-pointers and 3-pointers. That was one of the keys, and it winds up a 96-65 victory. For Dick Kuchin and our entire crew here in Morgantown, we thank you for joining us. We wish both these teams well as the Big East Championship in New York begins on Wednesday. This has been a presentation of ESPN Plus, the worldwide leader in collegiate sports television. I'm John Sanders. Good night.
Seen it several times this year where he fakes the pass out for the 3-pointer. The defense freezes.
Tom Coverdale, who turned 21 years of age a couple of weeks ago. This young Indiana team's been coming of age lately.
Well, Indiana struggling from the free throw line again. They're well under 50%, or this lead would be closer to 20 points.
What IU does not want to happen is let Purdue hang around, get closer than what it's been, and then make a run at the end.